fuck are you doing here?
Fuck. Sorry, I'm gonna stay awake.
What are you doing here?
Someone broke into my house and I just didn't have anywhere else to go.
Well, you hurt? Did you see who it was?
No, but I found this. I think that's what they were looking for. I found it right before they came in.
Who's that?
That's about $50,000 worth of dirty heroin.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we're joined here today by the talented writer and director of a new film called The Good Mother. We have Miles Joris Peyrafitte. Miles, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Miles, this movie stars Olivia Cooke, who's a talented actress from Bates Motel, Me and Earl and the Dying Girl. You've got two-time Oscar winner Hilary Swank and Jack Rayner, who I love in everything that he does. How did you come about working with Hilary on this? Because she's also an executive producer, correct?
Yeah, totally. So basically, Olivia, I had run into years ago around Me, Earl and the Dying Girl times, and we became friends and had the same manager. And so we'd always kind of been trying to put this together with her as Paige. She was kind of the first person we knew we wanted for it. But putting it together took a really long time and kind of like went through different iterations of the movie, different budget sizes, all kinds of different, as happens with movies these days. And so basically when the movie, that we thought it was dead for years, and so when it came back up, it was, and we kind of had, it was like, you're gonna go, like, start shooting very soon, all this, who's your dream? And we were like, well, I mean, come on, like Hilary Swank would be the dream. That's like, but we had met a couple years before about the film. So it was just sort of, she was the obvious first choice, and then we were surprised and blessed, and everything that she said yes and came as a part of it.
Why was she the perfect fit?
Well, I think that to me, it's a movie that's about grief, and it's about somebody who's grieving in a not perfect way, right? In a way, to me, that's really what the heart of the film is, and we didn't want to sugarcoat that. And I think that there's a lot of time, or like, sugarcoat's maybe a stupid term for it, but we wanted to be genuine to that process and not feel like we had to make the audience like her per se, or like, like we wanted to do something kind of bold with that character, and Hilary was really game to just push it and say, like, no, this is not the story of a perfect mom, this is not the story, you know what I mean, of whatever this is. It's very it's supposed to be a sort of layered and authentic kind of feeling of grief, that she's kind of like paralyzed by it. And I think that a lot of people, especially around whose lives have been impacted by the opioid epidemic or by drug debt or by whatever it is, I think that can probably relate that there a lot of times it's not this crystal clear grief. It's hard when you don't know where to put the blame, and I think that as a society we're all sort of feeling that also.
You know what? I get that. And I really feel like her mannerisms, particularly her nonverbal ones with her face and the way it reacts to things, they do that. They build that sort of pathos of the character that you can relate to, even though she's not the like nicest, most warm mother. You can tell that she loved her son and her sons, and she just has her own way of dealing with things. And I get why you wanted to pick her, but I wanted you to hear your verbalization of it, and I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. So you also helped primarily wrote this with Madison Harrison. What was the writing process?
well, it's hard to remember now because we wrote the script first 7 years ago. And it was a bigger movie. You know, we thought we were going to be making it for $10 million. We thought it was like, it was a very different version of it. And that sort of, you know, because we were coming off of our first film, As You Are, and it kept the film market kept falling apart as we were trying to put the movie together. I realized that we were like, sort of riding the end of a wave that was sort of, you know, things were changing. And it kept sort of not coming through, not being able to put it together. They're not being the right model for this, blah, 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 blah. And sorry, right. So we kept trying to kind of change it and make it smaller and reduce things, and kind of kept stripping things back to a point where it was like, oh, you can make this for a couple $1 million in your hometown, you know what I mean? And so a lot of it came down to, you know, okay, we had this kind of like bigger thing. Now, how do we take the best of that? How do we articulate it in this sort of tighter thing? Because it is, you know, the challenge of the movie was always going to be that we wanted to do something that felt like a noir in the sense that, but it was using the family drama and the thriller as the two kind of different tent poles, and then pulling that up, you know. So yeah.
I like that. Simple writing process. Took a while to get there. But when you got there, you got an end result. And this film comes out today, September 1st, correct?
Yeah.
What a birthday present for you, huh? Because I know
Tomorrow.
tomorrow is your birthday, correct?
It is, man. Yeah.
Happy birthday to you on that one. And
Thank you
get
very
this
much.
big premiere of this great movie. So I wanted to ask you a couple questions about yourself since your birthday's coming up. The first one that we always ask our guests is, who are some people you look to as inspirations, whether that be in filmmaking or in your personal life?
Oh man, in filmmaking, it's like there's too many, you know, and it's probably the same as like anyone else. But I feel like in my personal life, I look up to like basically all the people around me. But my parents, especially, my parents have both been artists for my whole life. My dad's a poet and my mom's a performance artist. And so they're people who have just been making art their whole lives, you know what I mean? And like when it wasn't super popular to be making you know, and no one's going out and buying like new books of poetry, you know what I mean? So I always really learned from them and look up to them and their work ethic, and the idea of, you know, being a filmmaker or being an artist is going to work every day and doing it and kind of like letting everything else sort itself out. But like, so, you know, my dad is 77 and was just giving a poetry reading in the hospital. And, you know, while he's like them for sure.
I love that. That should be the go-to answer, you know, because they're the biggest influences on us all, no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah.
The other question I'm going to ask you is probably the hardest one I'm going to ask you right now.
Oh boy.
2 movies you can watch for the rest of your life and no others. What 2 and why?
That's so hard. What are yours? Do you have them?
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and It Happened One Night.
No, that's good. Those are good. Those are freaking good.
Listen, I like sad boy movies, so you know that's what it has.
Oh, dude, me too. That's the thing is I'm like I don't want to pick something so sad that when I just like keep watching it, I'm just like more and more tortured and bummed out as it goes. Like, what do you want something that you like? It's like one, I feel like maybe just because it's had such. I mean, The Big Lebowski, I feel like can pull me out of anything. You know,
that's it. Really ties the room together. It really does.
It's just like so perfect. And then that and balance that out, maybe like Paris, Texas, or
Ooh,
Wings of Desire, or something like Avengers, like something a little headier and a little, just to
Paris,
have,
Texas is a good answer.
just so you have, got options.
I like that. No, Paris, Texas is a great answer, by the way. I love that.
Yeah,
Now, I want
and
you
the
to
Big
tell.
Lebowski.
Well, Big Lebowski is one of the best scripts ever written.
A good double feature.
Yeah. Well, very different. I like the juxtaposition of the two. So that's totally a good answer. Mine are two very opposite movies as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
and they're from different sides of filmmaking. One's from like
yeah,
2004, the other's from 1939. So it's like
totally.
weird.
Although, a huge influence on this movie that I watch all the time is Clue. If you know.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Jane
Yeah.
Fonda.
Yeah, it's like that movie for the way that we wanted to approach sort of the style and the use of noir and genre and stuff in the telling of a kind of smaller conspiratorial story, that was a huge influence on
Yeah,
this movie.
I can. I actually can. Now that you mention that, I can definitely see some parallels
Yeah.
there, and it's not directly ripping it, but it's like
No.
homage.
Well, but we also thought like it's so weird. There hasn't been this sort of character, this sort of thing in a while. I think it's also something we were aware of is that it can be difficult to see a mother who's not grieving the way that you would want your mom to grieve, like there's this part of you which is like inherent to the characters, what the movie is about, is somebody who starts the movie like stone, like completely rigid and incapable. She's been, holding on to, she's been mourning her son's death since before he was dead, but she's been holding on and is unable to sort of move. And then this other agent needing to, wanting the truth page, something kind of opening up. But the Pakula was a huge reference for us.
No, I like that. No, I definitely understand where you're coming from there on that reference. And so I wanted to ask you, because I don't have too much time left. Why should people check out your movie, which comes out today, September 1st?
I think it's gonna be really fun in the theater. We just watched it with the whole casting crew and stuff, and or not the cast, sorry, they were all on strike, obviously. But we did like a big crew screening, and it's actually it's fun to see with a group of people, and Big Charlotte Hornsby did an unbelievable job shooting it. And it was really nice to see how actually like the twists and turns of the movie really got people going, and there were like some like a bunch of audible gasps and things like that. And I was like, did none of you read the script like when you worked on this? But so I think that it plays really well in a theater, which is really exciting. And yeah, and it's
I love that. Simple and easy. Check out the film when it comes out today in theaters, nationwide, mostly. And then does it have a VOD after release as well?
Yeah, I don't know the info on it, but right now offhand. But it'll after theaters, it'll come out.
Check this one out in theaters, because that's always the best way to watch a movie is in theaters with a group of people.
Always.
Definitely check this one out, and make sure you let him know if you like the movie or not. Where can people do that if they want to, Miles?
I'm just on Instagram, Miles Joris Peyrafitte on Instagram. That's all I got.
Or perfect. That works for me for Film Snob Reviews. This has been William, and thank you so much, Miles, for letting us talk to you today. Is there anything else you want to leave the audience with before we let you go?
No. I hope you see the movie. I hope you like the movie. And thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Happy birthday, man. And go check out his movie. That's what he wants for his birthday. It's everybody to check out his movie.
Exactly.
Have a great day, man.
All right. I'll talk to you later, William.